Brandon, how much do you know about D&D?
Pretty much nothing, but I do know about filmmaking.
Okay, cool. Would you say D&D and filmmaking share a lot of the same qualities?
You could say that, yeah, because filmmaking is all about telling a story for a bunch of people and communicating one person's vision to those people. But with Dungeons and Dragons, it's a more immersive storytelling experience. So you have other people writing the script and acting all in real time. But at the end of the day, it's still a storytelling medium.
It's still a story. You're kind of writing the script as you go. The players have a lot more agency than they do like a narrative film. There's still a director and DP involved in everything when you're talking about a production like Son of a Dungeon.
Yeah, so Corridor's taking their experience with what they know best, VFX and filmmaking, and taking that into the world of Dungeons and Dragons by doing photo scans of everything so they can incorporate the minis in a VFX world that is more immersive than just a camera pointing down at the table, but also allowing them to place themselves inside the map, inside the terrain, and inside the story that they are themselves acting out in their mind, and they get to basically communicate it to you with virtual production and green screen and VFX.
Yeah, that's a lot for a D&D show. I'm just really excited to break that down. So today we have Carmichael, who's the director and DP of the series, and we're gonna talk to him about how lighting plays a big part in this overall storytelling for D&D.
Yeah, and basically how to
So you guys want to see it?
Oh yeah, let's do it!
What a troll.
Oh wow, what a big...
Okay. Hey everyone, so here we are with Carmichael from the Corridor team, who is in charge of this whole massive production for Son of a Dungeon. Carmichael, want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey guys, so I've been working with Corridor Digital for almost a full decade. I've had some time off to focus on Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm back here bringing my experience to Corridor. We got a lot of lights going on here because I'm trying to make a DIY dream production set here, and the go-to lights I used were Aputure.
Awesome. Talk a little bit about...
Who would have thought I chose Aputure lights? So we'll start with, of course, necessity, right? When we started in season 1, we had 2 lightweight top-down lights with grids just to give us something on the table with the expectation that it would just fill in and flood the actors.
And this is the key light that's lighting them pretty much throughout the entire show.
So you're pretty much getting this effect. And then I added for this season some edge light. It's like, what do we have? How do we rock it? And how do we make it look good? We need some clean edge light hanging from above. And we got that. And everything's set to 3200 Kelvin.
Okay. So you're getting this warm tungsten look.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you're at home and you're playing with your friends rather than like in a sterile office environment, right?
Right. And also, we're rolling for almost 6 hours straight.
Yeah.
We don't want to be filled with artificial daylight. We have 3 locked off cameras. We have a floating camera technically where you would be. And then we have this PTZ that is zooming in and getting extreme details and close-ups. We love it. I want 3 more. And then I have this ultra wide 14 mil just getting it all the time at the table.
Okay.
Son of a Dungeon season 2, we had a producer, Derek, who's also came up in the grip department. So he was able to make this all work with my ideas.
But yeah, you have your grid clamps here, you have speed rail couplers, you have an over-under coupler, so it allows the speed rails to kind of come together. Everything's mounted onto grid clamps. They have safety chains so they can be safe and nothing falls on any of the players.
There's a lot of electricity running through those things.
Yeah, you have pretty much 1,500 watts of light, or maybe 1,000 watts of light between all the things considered, and then the cameras that are always hanging.
This season we went a little bit further with some more lighting choices. Season 1, the background was lit with different colors, but I was pretty much scattering like a full 12 kit MC lights just everywhere with USB-C cables going everywhere. This season, I'm rocking the Nova lights.
Okay, so you upgraded it by a
massive upgrade.
It's a massive upgrade.
I was actually able to play with exposure.
Wow.
They're pretty much sitting at around 20%.
So you upgraded from MCs to Nova P300Cs and realized even the Nova P300C was still too much for what you needed.
I put a Nova 300 in my apartment. At 0.01%, it was competing with my house light bulbs. I was like, what is this? We're utilizing as much of the space as possible, right? We even mounted black lights because some of our minis have a little bit of reaction to black light.
Really? Okay.
We have LED strips in here too, right?
Just rimmed along the entire side of the...
Yeah. We just experimented with this. So it's like when you put this stuff projecting behind the Dungeon Master, the players, they end up having such a massive emotional reaction to things.
So like you were able to use lighting, even just like trinkets and toys, like just
Yeah.
to create a more natural environment for your talent, which is really important part of lighting too. And it's not just about getting the perfect shot all the time. Sometimes you'll have to make sacrifices or even supplement to the light just to make sure that the talent can give the best performance because they feel the most comfortable in the scenario.
Right. And if you take a look at the rig, this goes right into what you're saying. You know, we essentially have a 360-degree set.
And then you're basically just framing your stands and everything for each of the cameras that you're shooting with.
Right.
So you don't break the illusion that there's all this film equipment around you. You're still basically sitting at home with your friends.
Over here on the VFX Artist React set is the background of Sam. I took these fire effect MCs and I placed them roughly around here on both sides. So on the wings of Sam the Dungeon Master, we have fire.
Just like there's a fireplace right behind them.
Yeah, and they're not synced, which is great because then it gives it a more organic vibe.
Yeah. And then you change the lighting depending on the mood, depending on the types of environment they're in order to help them
So
feel
I'm gonna
that,
turn
right?
off the house lights for you guys, and I'll just kind of walk through quick examples. Purple is a really for this season, it was a very underground vibe, but I also reserve at least super saturated dark purple for nighttime vibes.
Okay.
But with the Nova, I was able to just play with exposure. So we're going to rest, and this is how dark I go. And then when they wake up from their long rest, boom.
Everything comes back up.
Yeah. Every time when Sam says roll initiative,
Everything turns red.
everything turns red. They walk into a nice ice-filled room. I just went a little like this,
Oh.
just to mix it up.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the
And you're doing
use
this
of the lights.
not through DMX, but you're doing this through the Sidus Link app.
Just
so
the Sidus app.
Everything's on the same wavelength. This is another level beyond just playing with your friends at home, unless you have a friend who's willing to live DJ your lights while you're sitting there.
And to be fair, because I'm doing this a lot with productions, when I DM, I put a little MC light on the corner of my friend's room just to boop, just to add more mood. A Dungeon Master needs to be able to set the mood for the players.
Yeah.
Because if you're not setting the mood and everyone's texting on their phone, you're not playing the game. And this room, these lightings, they help.
So what affected your decisions for lighting in the virtual production world and in the 3D world? Because obviously it's not all coming from the top-down lighting from the actual tables photography.
Right. Great example in season 1, this wide top-down VFX shot. We have a spotlight just put onto an idol.
So there's a functional purpose for that one.
Right. And then other rooms, we got torches. And some torches are slightly different to separate the space. And then the yellow right there is just, we need another color.
I mean, so what we talked about a lot here is contrast and creating a lot of contrast so you can direct your audience's eye.
I can't stress this enough, is the idea of just making a pretty shot. Just for the sake of making sure it looks pretty. The only difficulty is knowing the right buttons and the right coordination of how you're going to put the light somewhere. The same difficulty is in real life of what's the equipment, where do I put it to get the right thing I want?
Okay.
It's literally the challenge. What I like about lighting on Unreal is there's a button to turn on the sky.
You just turn on overall sky ambience.
Yeah, and then you can set the time of day. In real life, you gotta make a blue sky in the studio and then put your warm sun in there. That's his own line of work.
So we covered a lot today. Are there any last pointers you want to give or any last tips you want to cover?
I mean, you all saw a lot of toys out there. You can get some webcams. You can find a good USB dock so you can do your multicam going into your live stream. Go to Home Depot, get your Chinese balls, so it's a nice soft light. Anyone can do some version of this and get your storytelling out there. Dungeons and Dragons is not a storytelling experience. Dungeons and Dragons is a story creating experience. The storytelling is in hindsight. And you're like, wow, wait, so your character was banished and you killed the guy who banished you by the end? That's so cinematic. But if you want to watch Son of a Dungeon, I highly recommend joining corridordigital.com. You know, we're trying to pump out as many seasons and campaigns as much as possible in respect of our workload.
Yeah, because this thing takes you, what, 6 to 12 months to do?
6 to 12 months to do one season, and we're trying to shorten that so we can hopefully eventually get to more seasons per year.
Okay. Okay, well, thanks for helping us and walking us through everything you did for Son of a Dungeon. And
Thank you for visiting. Yeah.
And thanks for watching.
Bye.